Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 335 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation where we use female words. This would be December 1st if you're starting at the new year. The process of healing. While truth is simple, it must still be taught to those who have already lost their way in endless mazes of complexity. This is the great illusion. In its wake comes the inevitable belief that, to be safe, one must control the unknown. This strange belief relies on certain steps which never reach to consciousness. First, it is ushered in by the belief that there are forces to be overcome to be alive at all. And next, it seems as if those forces can be held at bay only by an inflated sense of self that holds in darkness what is truly felt and seeks to raise illusions to the light. Let us remember that the ones who come to us for help are bitterly afraid. What they believe will help can only harm. What they believe will harm alone can help. Progress becomes impossible until the patient is persuaded to reverse her twisted way of looking at the world, her twisted way of looking at herself. The truth is simple, yet it must be taught to those who think it will endanger them. It must be taught to those who will attack because they feel endangered, and to those who need the lesson of defenselessness above all else to show them what is strength. If this world were ideal, there could perhaps be ideal therapy, and yet it would be useless in an ideal state. We speak of ideal teaching in a world in which the perfect teacher could not long remain. The perfect psychotherapist is but a glimmer of a thought not yet conceived. But still, we speak of what can yet be done in helping the insane within the bounds of the attainable. While they are sick, they can and must be helped. No more than that is asked of psychotherapy. No less than all she has to give is worthy of the therapist. For God herself holds out her sister as her savior from the world. Healing is holy. Nothing in the world is holier than helping one who asks for help. And two come very close to God in this attempt, however limited, however lacking in sincerity. Where two have joined for healing, God is there. And she has guaranteed that she will hear and answer them in truth. They can be sure that healing is a process she directs, because it is according to her will. We have her word to guide us as we try to help our sisters. Let us not forget that we are helpless of ourselves, and lean upon a strength beyond our little scope for what to teach as well as what to learn. A sister seeking aid can bring us gifts beyond the heights perceived in any dream. She offers us salvation, for she comes to us as Christ and Savior. What she asks is asked by God through her, and what we do for her becomes the gift we give to God. The sacred calling of God's holy child for help in her perceived distress can be but answered by her mother. Yet she needs a voice through which to speak her holy word, a hand to reach her child and touch her heart. In such a process, who could not be healed? This holy interaction is the plan of God herself by which her child is saved. For two have joined, and now God's promises are kept by her. The limits laid on both the patient and the therapist will count as nothing, for the healing has begun. What they must start, their mother will complete. For she has never asked for more than just the smallest willingness, the least advance, the tiniest of whispers of her name. To ask for help, whatever form it takes, is but to call on her, and she will send her answer through the therapist who best can serve her child in all her present needs. Perhaps the answer does not seem to be a gift from heaven. It may even seem to be a worsening and not a help. Yet let the outcome not be judged by us. Somewhere all gifts of God must be received. In time no effort can be made in vain. It is not our perfection that is asked in our attempts to heal. We are deceived already if we think there is a need of healing, and the truth will come to us only through one who seems to share our dream of sickness. Let us help her to forgive herself for all the trespasses with which she would condemn herself without a cause. Her healing is our own, and as we see the sinlessness in her come shining through the veil of guilt that shrouds the child of God, we will behold in her the face of Christ and understand that it is but our own. Let us stand silently before God's will and do what it has chosen that we do. There is one way alone by which we come to where all dreams began, and it is there that we will lay them down, to come away in peace forever. Hear a sister call for help and answer her. It will be God to whom you answer, for you called on her. There is no other way to hear her voice. There is no other way to seek her child. There is no other way to find yourself. Holy is healing, for the child of God returns to heaven through its kind embrace. For healing tells her in the voice for God that all her sins have been forgiven her. In one of the passages not long ago, there was a curious statement that said healing is not a fact, it's a process. And here we have an entire passage that addresses that process. And of course this would be the case. Healing is not a fact because all wounds are illusion. Healing is just the patch on the buggy software. It is the wave that cancels out the noise. It is the necessary interventions to wake us all from our dreams. We are reminded in this passage that while the truth is simple, it must be taught, because it is the one thing that we are most terrified of. It is the one place we will not look. We need help. We need to be invited so that we can see that it is not terrifying and that it is safe. It says in this passage that where do we think our safety is? We think our safety is in controlling the unknown, in trying to make the uncertain certain. This is us putting ourselves in the throne of God. We feel that in order to be safe and powerful, we have to be the ones calling the shots. It reminds us that our most foundational beliefs are hidden from our own consciousness. We hid them from ourselves. It says this strange belief relies on certain steps which never reach to consciousness. So deep down, we have this belief that forces must be overcome in order for us to be alive at all. Do we not all believe in a dog-eat-dog world? And that the only way to survive is to inflate that sense of self. We have to fight for it. And here the Course is inviting us to stop all fighting. The psychotherapist has the situation of those coming to her for help who are bitterly afraid, but that which they think they desire most is that which will perpetuate harm, and that which they are most afraid of is that which will save. And therefore, offering the healing is seen as a terrifying attack. Defenselessness is not an easy sell to someone who is terrified. If I may, from my small and limited perspective, I feel like I have seen more and more in the world of therapists, those who do little more than listen and validate what is being said by their patients. I do not see a lot of challenging the patient's worldview and asking them to have a paradigm shift. Is that because they have seen again and again that doing so results in themselves being attacked? And so they take the safe path of just letting the patient unload and hoping that that helps them feel better? I don't know. I'm not a therapist, and my experience in such things is extremely limited. All I know is the reports I get from loved ones who are having these experiences. The Course has many times reminded us that if we were perfect, we wouldn't need healing in the first place. And it reminds us here that therapy's not going to be ideal, because in an ideal situation, there wouldn't need to be healing. In other words, it's messy. It's messy. and it's okay. Love receives us where we're at, and where we're at is messy. The therapist is only asked to give all that she can give, all that she brings to the table, and what she is in that moment, and it is enough. And therefore, on some level, just listening is enough. Someone has come asking for help, and just being listened to and having space held for them, that is loving. All the more so when the therapist is holding a non-judgmental point of view, offering full forgiveness from their core. Actually, I personally had this experience. It was the thing that allowed me to have a faith transition, which was utterly terrifying for me. To look with a critical eye upon the childhood faith I'd been raised with, it happened in a space where I was being listened to without judgment and with full forgiveness. And in that space, I heard myself talking and said, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And in that space, I had the liberty and the strength to change my mind. And then we have this beautiful expression in today's passage that when therapist and patient join in love, even if it's just a glimmering of joining, both their limitations are covered by grace. They are set free and they heal together. Where two have joined for healing, God is there. Where two have joined for healing, love is there. Where two have joined for healing, the miracle is there. And here we have the answer to that separated feeling that we have to control the unknown, that we have to make certain the uncertain. We find trust in knowing that love is guiding this healing process. We don't have to understand it. We don't have to control it. We just let it unfold. And then, perhaps most beautiful of all, this passage explains to us that the one who comes to us asking for help is God our Mother, in disguise. And the asking is the gift. That's the surprise. Everyone we meet is God. And however the asking comes, that is our gift and our salvation. What a mystery. What a beautiful teaching. What a paradigm shift. The one who comes to us asking for help, that is God asking through her, asking us once again, are you love? Will you give love when it is asked for? And we have the opportunity to confirm, yes, I am love. I will give when it is asked for. So, even in just this glimmering of a joining, the mother completes what we begin. Our mother has never asked for more than just the smallest willingness, the least advance, the tiniest of whispers of her name, and her name is love. To ask for help, whatever form it takes, is but to call on her. And our mother sends her answer through the therapist who can best serve her child in all her present needs. Sometimes the help doesn't look like help. Sometimes it's hard for us to see that love is in disguise, even in challenges. That is what the Course is asking us to see. And we have all the help of heaven in this asking. And adding to the compassionate realization that only the tiniest willingness is what is being asked of us, we're also told somewhere all the gifts of God must be received. In time, no effort can be made in vain. It is not our perfection that is asked in our attempts to heal. We're all already insane, already deceived, to think that there's a need of healing in the first place. And the only way we wake up to the truth comes through our fellows who share our dream of sickness. Here we are in the illusion, seemingly in bodies, having come here thinking that we could gain something in the illusion, and it allows us to be visible to one another, to find one another, to love one another, to join and be healed, to show each other our innocence, to forgive each other. After we review what is the ego found in show notes, we go on to lesson 335. I choose to see my sister's sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. I never see my sister as she is, for that is far beyond perception. What I see in her is merely what I wish to see, because it stands for what I want to be the truth. It is to this alone that I respond, however much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings. I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see, and only this. My sister's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own, and I will see it, having chosen to behold my sister in its holy light. What could restore your memory to me except to see my sister's sinlessness? Her holiness reminds me that she was created one with me and like myself. In her, I find myself, and in your child, I find the memory of you as well. That is our lesson for today. Happy practicing.